James Hollingsworth doing Sneaky Sneaky. Want to test your skills in espionage against an unknown number of enemies? Challenge accepted. The view will be in third person to allow for corner watching, surveillance, and avoiding enemy sight. The theme is centered around infiltrating different buildings to collect codes. It can be co-op or it can be single player, but the objective is not to be seen or caught. An overview would be having a room with select buildings. The player's end goal is to reach the codes, while the enemies are constantly patrolling, moving around, or staying stationary as required. The goal of the game is to collect the different codes from the targeted areas to open a vault. You need to find the location of the vault, you need to find the access codes to the vault, you need to find the surveillance for the vault, and other various intelligence features. The rules of the game will allow for players to have speed boost, cloakers if they are seen, to collect different codes. Some of them will be the ones you need, some of them might be for hidden Easter eggs in the game. But the biggest rule is that there's no killing the enemies directly. The Anti-Force is a private military sector. They have everything ranging from armed guards to security cameras to drones. There are several different features that the player will have to avoid. What makes the decision making unique in this game is that the player can choose after retrieving the first code whether or not to attempt to locate the vault and access it. While there is no way to directly kill the enemy, there are definitely ways using the terrain or assets that will be located throughout the level to eliminate or subdue enemies without them knowing that you're actually doing something to them. You can choose to collect additional features such as a fire extinguisher that is loaded with soda or soap or something that can distract enemies. Or they can, if the level seems too hard for the player, they can simply leave the level. Using the terrain feature is the biggest part for the player. However, it will alert the enemy to their presence, so doing full-scale terrain alterations is not the best idea unless there's no other way around it. If the player is ever spotted, they can use their cloak to get out of there. My game can be compared to Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid the most. Both of them are stealth games that require the player to try to sneak around as much as possible. However, unlike these two, mine you have no direct contact with the enemy without surprising them. The biggest risk to this game will be the terrain alteration and making sure that the player can still complete the level with the new terrain. Coding the AI to still interact with the previous terrain and the new one will be somewhat of a challenge. If the player only chooses to grab one code, that would be a very difficult thing to consider when doing the vault. So having multiple variations to how to access the vault will also be a challenge.